Welcome to Daily Roundup with Hassan. Today is January 30th, Thursday. There is a tragic news I have to share with you guys. American Airlines aircraft, the flight A5342, collided with American Black Hawk a helicopter in midair, and 67 people assumed dead. After the collision, the helicopter and the aircraft fall into the river, in the Potomac River, close to Washington, D.C. The flight was coming from the state of Kansas to the Ronald Reagan National Airport, which is 3 miles away from the White House. This is the biggest air incident after 9/11. The reason which we find after initial investigation, the reason we were finding out is that it was heavy helicopter traffic in that area. Around 600 to 700 flights, helicopter flights, passed by around this airport. So also because of the limited number of runway in that airport, there is also one of the busiest runway in the United States. Also, the airport is also very busy because of the most of the cabinet members, the senators, representatives want to use that airport because it is very close to their offices in DC. So after initial investigation, we found that the helicopter is supposed to fly below 200 or at 200 feet above the ground level. But the helicopter was flying at 350 feet, and it was like 150 feet above the level where it's supposed to be. The American Airlines flight was right on its way. There was nothing wrong with that. There's no technical issue or anything. Even the flight, the air traffic controller advised the pilot to land on that runway, specific runway 33. There is no obvious reason, but they have their own criteria and the procedure how they follow according to the rules. But one other thing we found out that the one ATC was working, air traffic controller was working, where two of the people supposed to work at that time. One of them usually controls the airplane traffic, and the second one usually controls the helicopter traffic. So it's a big tragic incident happened in America. It happened last night around 9 p.m. The second thing I want to share you about the appointments of the cabinet members of the Trump administration. First one, the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He is appointed as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the son of Senator Robert F. Kennedy, who is the brother of President John F. Kennedy. So he is a very anti-vaccine activist. Even today, senators ask questions about his views on vaccine, because he has said many times that vaccine causes autism in the children, which is nowadays very common in America. And of course, the vaccines or the medicines are the reason for this, because nowhere else it happened in that ratio. Second appointment was of Kash Patel. Kash Patel was a lawyer. He also worked on some of the highest posts in government administration. He is New York born, but his parents are from India, from the state of Gujarat in India. He is appointed as the FBI director. He also was a big critic of January 6th incident. Especially he said so many statements about the administration, about the authorities which are supposed to stop people entering into the Capitol Hill. And even today they ask him about so many his questions about opinions on what if somebody asks you to do something illegal, would you do it or would you resign? I also want to mention that after President Donald Trump pardoned 1,600 January 6 supporters, those who tried to enter into the Capitol Hill. He pardoned all of them, and Kash Patel was against that decision as well. So he is a very crucial appointment for Donald Trump cabinet. Another one is the Tulsi Gabbard. She got appointed as the Director of National Intelligence. She is a Iraq War veteran. She also served in Kuwait as well. So she will be leading more than 12 spy agencies. She will be the head of all those agencies. She's a representative from Hawaii. She has strong views about Edward Snowden. She always support him in favor of forgiveness from the government. And she also praised Vladimir Putin, the Russian president. So there was some very, very crucial, very critical question asked from her about her views on these two people. And she, of course, not going to give the straight answer, but she was trying to just give them the logical answer, whatever it's supposed to be. On the other hand, Hamas released 8 hostages. Out of 8, 3 were Israeli soldiers and 5 Thailand nationals. And in return, Israel released 110 hostages. Some of them were in the jail for years, like for a long time. And some were just recently arrested, and from the West Bank, some from the Gaza. On the other hand, there's also one important thing I want to discuss with you. Trump is going to put 25% tariff on Mexico and Canadian products. That's a big thing because he already announced the tariff on the Chinese goods, on the Brazilian goods, and he was about to put tariff on the Colombian goods as well. So one hand, he is trying to bring the inflation down. He's not trying, but he was saying in his campaign that he will bring the inflation down. But these efforts, these tariffs, these new laws gonna increase the inflation, and there's no way the inflation is going down after all these tariffs and all these sanctions on other countries. He also announced that he signed the executive order to revoke the visas of international students who stood against Israel, who stood against a genocide. He ordered the universities and colleges to find the proof and give the list of those students so they can revoke their visas and deport them. This is against the Constitution. This is against the freedom of speech, freedom of expression in the United States. Those students were protesting legally, though there was no aggressive protests. They were peacefully protesting in their colleges and universities, and everybody should have the right to protest. But these days, after January 20th, I think Constitution and the ethics and the morality has very less value in the current in United States right now. One other thing I want to mention with you, Donald Trump even created the Department of Government Efficiency to decrease the spending and to save the money for the government. But on the other hand, the flights he's using to send illegal immigrants to deport them out of the country is costing 8 times more than what is supposed to be if they were deported by the commercial planes. So the cost of the flight or commercial plane is 100,000, and but the military flight cost around 800,000. So it's 8 times more than what is supposed to be. It's just a show off. But here, Department of Government Efficiency doesn't want to involve, or they don't see that this is right in front of their eyes. This is just starting right now. They should stop it. They should work on it as well. That's all from today. Hopefully, I'll join you guys tomorrow.